Hello and welcome to this AdminChat webinar. My name is Amanda Johnson of VACT Limited and I'm going to share with you 10 tips for a successful VA business. What I'm going to do though, just to help the webinar, is I'm actually just going to go off camera so that my computer decides to actually play along and record the webinar for us quite nicely. So let me just go off camera. And hopefully you can hear me okay. So, I'm Amanda Johnson, as I said a second ago, and my background is I did 23 years in the Royal Navy before launching my own successful VA business. And I sold my VA business actually a couple of years ago when I was focusing my efforts on coaching, mentoring and training virtual assistants, or those who wanted to set up as a virtual assistant. In both 2016 and 2017, I was voted as the best VA training provider in the UK, and over the years I've been identified as the VA training company whose trainees earn more money than any other training company in the UK. Why is that? Well, I'm passionate about inspiring, challenging and supporting business owners, and what I really want to do is empower virtual assistants to be authentic and awesome, and I'll cover those words a little bit more as we go through the webinar. If you'd like to tweet me during this admin chat, I would be absolutely delighted. I've shared my Twitter ID on the screen for you. And if you use the hashtag AdminChat, I'll be able to go back in and find it, because I love AdminChat. It's a great learning opportunity and training opportunity and allows us to keep our professional development going. So let's get started with these 10 tips. My first tip for you is about having belief in yourself and your abilities. Everyone imposes their own mental limits. We tell ourselves we cannot possibly do things, but if we push those limits just a little bit further and we break the boundaries, anything is possible. Now that's a quote from Deborah Veal, who is a transatlantic rower and author of Rowing It Alone, One Woman's Extraordinary Transatlantic Adventure. And it's just so true, isn't it? When we increase our level of self-confidence, we actually start to feel better about ourselves, and it helps us move further forwards in our life and allows us to reach for our dreams. More importantly, how courageous and confident we feel has a direct effect on how happy and accomplished we feel. In other words, finding courage and self-confidence is something really worth pursuing, I believe. But actually, self-confidence, courage, self-belief in ourselves and in our abilities is actually just a habit. It is something that we can completely take control of. And it's actually a habit that we can cultivate. All it takes is a little bit of awareness and the drive to make it happen. Like most things, with habits, we just need to get the ball rolling for a little while. And those habits don't have to be huge. A small act of courage will work just fine to build it. Remember that as you take each step on your self-confidence journey. And that bravery that you've had to do to take that first initial move will actually get easier with each courageous move you take. I often say to people, do what you're good at and what makes you happy. And when you do it on a regular basis, it gets easier and easier. But I would like you to remember that sometimes you're going to have a bad day and setbacks will happen, and that's part of life. One of the things that I suggest you do to help you on days just like that is to keep something called a victory book. You might be wondering, what's a victory book? Well, it can be a pretty, gorgeous notebook or journal. And as PAs, EAs and VAs, I know we all tend to have a love or a passion for stationery. So what I'd love you to do is I'd love you to find a gorgeous notebook. And then I'd like you to either stick in or paste in or write in recommendations, any testimonials you've received, any glowing Facebook comments, articles from clients who you've helped to achieve success, any thank you cards that somebody sent you, maybe a grateful or happy email from people you've helped, press clippings on awards you've earned or events you've spoken at, screenshots of positive feedback, acknowledgement of how much people have noticed you care or listen, or how you actually inspire them. If you're a visual person by nature, make sure you use a really lovely scrapbook, something that's a pleasure to look at, with colours that make you feel good. What I want you then to do is when you're having a crappy day, I want you to be able to take out this notebook and flick through it and start to feel inspired. I like to include favourite quotes in mine, anything that inspires me and reminds me that I'm awesome. Now, I understand that if you're just starting out in your VA business, you might think, I don't have anything to go in there. Doesn't matter. It's one of the reasons why I include quotes in mine, because they inspire me to have that success that I desire. So tip 2. Tip number 2 is about knowing your core values. And actually, this is one of my most important tips. It's about knowing yourself. And it's about knowing yourself and running a VA business that resonates with what you and what you stand for. The Oxford English Dictionary defines our core values as principles or standards of behaviour, one's judgment of what's important in life. Knowing your values, and especially your core values, will help you understand more about how and why you do certain things. Now, your personal core values and your business core values may be slightly different, and so I would certainly take some time to work out them both. But let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever been asked to do something and your initial answer is, no way, I'd never consider doing that? Well, what they're probably asking you to do is something that's going to break your core values. Another easy way to identify what your values are and why they're important to you is have a think about the last time you got extremely angry over a circumstance or a situation. And this will usually be down to the fact that one of your core values was broken. So knowing your core values is an asset to you in your business. When what you're doing in life is good and you feel satisfied, you're usually doing things that are aligned to your core values. When they don't align with your values, things feel a little bit wrong, and this can lead to real unhappiness in life and in business. We're therefore naturally more successful when we work in flow with the way in which we feel most satisfied. Tip number 3, charging your worth. When it comes to the topic of money, it is important that you feel very confident about what you want to earn and charging what you're truly worth, as well as to understand the value which clients experience when working with you. Many VAs come from an employed role and they've never had to sell themselves or anything else, and they've certainly never had to talk about money. Therefore, when it comes to launching their business or running their VA business, they don't always have the skills or the experience to discuss the financial aspects of their business, or even talk about money to potential clients. Often, they'll look to see what other VAs are charging, and they'll charge the same or even undercharge themselves. And this doesn't actually send out the right message about their fees, and potential clients see the service as expensive because we haven't actually explained the value we bring. Personally, I would look at research from groups such as the Society of Virtual Assistants and their annual survey to see the recommended rates of what others are actually charging. Interestingly, in their recent survey, they identified that those that do my training courses earn more than any of the other UK training providers' trainees, or those that haven't done any training. Other places you can look for guidance on rates, if you're in the UK, is the Federation Small Businesses Report on Virtual Assistants. Or if you're on the international marketplace, I would have a look at organisations such as the VA Classroom or the International Virtual Assistants Association. What I would say here is if you don't charge your worth and you charge yourself out too cheaply, it's really, really difficult to raise your rates. And often, if you actually undercharge or undersell yourself and you charge cheaply, potential clients will wonder why you're so cheap when they know what the industry averages are. So please don't undercharge, charge your worth and be confident in doing so. Tip 4, I want you to focus on the outputs. Identify what motivates you. Is it money? Is it the work you do? Is it the difference you make? The work-life balance? The opportunities? What is it that actually you had in your head when you were setting up your VA business? Sometimes when we feel overwhelmed, it's because we're running our business in such a way that we feel out of alignment of what we set out to achieve, and we're focusing our efforts on the wrong things. If that's the case, I generally recommend we go back to basics at that point and really evaluate what the goal is that we were working towards and create a business that actually delivers that. Communication is critical. Tip 5, this is, so as a virtual assistant, you are not employed by anyone. Business owners outsource to you, and therefore the conversations and the communications you have are as business owner to business owner. Communication serves as the foundation of every facet of our business. Therefore, it can be said that effective communication is the building block of an organisation. Because a VA is generally displaced from the client, it is imperative that good It is imperative that good communication is practiced, either in the written or the verbal form. I generally recommend meetings with clients happen via Zoom or Skype or another video conferencing tool so that we can still see the use of non-verbal communication methods, so those facial expressions and body language, so that we don't try to rely on the meaning of the words that are spoken or something that's inadvertently taken in a different way due to the way in which the words are said. What I want you to be able to do, though, is actually speak up. If something is bothering you or boundaries are being breached, you have to talk with your clients. It's about having good, effective communication. It's about being clear and understanding what both parties are actually trying to say. Tip 6 is all about building relationships. Actually, business is all about building relationships, and it's about building them and developing them. Often, new VAs will say to me, "Oh, I went networking 3 times and no one has bought from me yet." And my immediate response to that is, yep, they won't. If you've gone into a room and tried to sell to the people you've met, nobody is going to buy from you. Would you do business with somebody that you don't know? No, didn't think so. So in turn, how can you expect people to do business with you if they don't know you? Building relationships with others is really important because not only do you see whether your first judgments were correct, you'll grow to know, like, and trust them, and hopefully respect that person. And when we respect that person, we'll want to support them as well. There's the fact that actually you want that person to get to know you so they can also support you. It goes hand in hand, actually. Some people will go to a networking meeting and get really disappointed if someone hasn't taken interest in their business. The point is, we don't go to our networking meetings to sell. You attend a networking meeting to create an awareness of your business so that referrals can be generated, so that you are supporting your business community and building potentially your dream team. You are building relationships so that people get to know you, to like you, and to trust you. And once they've done that, the potential is endless. A really important lesson to learn here is that people see that you are investing your time in getting to know them and to understand their business, and know that you are keen to support them, they will build trust in you. Tip 7. Always be learning and embrace technology. I think this one speaks for itself, actually. Technology is constantly changing, and the very fact that you have joined me for AdminChat shows that you are open to the notion of always be learning. Think back to when the internet first came around. I think the first internet was a network of networks, and it was about 1983. But the internet properly started in 1990, and it's continued to develop from there. But if we think about those early typists, probably thought nothing would replace their initial typewriters or even their electric typewriters, or dare I say it, even the typing pool. But here we are. Some of you might be listening to AdminChat on your smartphone, or even from an aeroplane while travelling from one country to the next. The opportunities are actually endless. So I think we all have to be open to learning new things and embrace different ways of doing things, or at least be open to. I talked about 2 things recently in one of my webinars with trainees that I work with. One of them was a Rolodex and the other one was a Kalamazoo. Now, actually, the young lady I was talking to didn't have a clue what either of them were. Now, Rolodex, I'm guessing most of you will know. But actually, if somebody wants to tweet me via AdminChat and tell me what a Kalamazoo is, I'll actually send them a gift in the post. It's a great, I'm just sat here smiling to myself at the thoughts of remembering the very first Kalamazoo I came into being with. But taking this back to tip 7, I think what I also want you to be aware of is some things are coming back in fashion, things that we thought potentially had been forgotten. So if I was to say to you that shorthand is becoming fashionable again, I think we can see that actually sometimes we go full circle in the way in which we operate our businesses. Tip 8. Market your business daily. There are many definitions of marketing, but it is essentially about understanding your clients or your potential clients, identifying what it is they want and keeping them satisfied. It's about creating an awareness of what you provide and the benefits of your service. It's about raising the awareness of your brand and what it represents. It is also about continuing to keep your profile raised in the business world. The biggest mistake I see is when people stop marketing because they are fully booked. Massive mistake, and please don't do it. What happens when you lose a client? be that the client decides to retire or something more drastic happens to them. Marketing, or let's rephrase that, to building relationships should be something we continually work upon. Tip 9. Be the CEO of your business and not just the doer. My very first business coach was with the Royal British Legion, and they ran a mentoring program called Be the Boss. And this really reinforced the be the CEO of your business message to me and not just the doer. When you're building your VA business, you have to be aware that as an entrepreneur yourself, that you're not falling into the same trap that many of your clients are falling into. So what is that trap? Well, your entrepreneur's trap means that the entrepreneur, the business owner, aims to do everything for themselves, exchanges all of their time for money, and therefore becomes a self-employed employee of their business. And that kind of defeats the object of becoming self-employed. What happens when we're the doer is often we focus on the stuff that we find easy, the stuff that doesn't push us out of our comfort zone and allows us to stay behind the scenes, doing what we feel we do best. But actually, when you're a business owner, you need to stand up and be that business owner. And ideally, I'd like you to be the boss of your business, the CEO of your business, every day. Yep, not once a week, not a couple of times a month, but every day. I want you to be working on your goals and your vision for the business. Tip 10. Any ideas what tip 10 is going to be for me? Well, I'm often known for this mantra. If you already follow me on social media, you will know that this is my mantra. Be you and be awesome. Why, I hear you ask? Well, although any other VA may compare to any other VA on paper, they might have the same skill sets. Nobody else is you. You are you. Your core values, your strengths, your weaknesses make you. And therefore, I want you to be the real you so that your passion shines through. And being awesome? Well, being awesome is all about authenticity for me. And I said I'd come back to that phrase again. Lots of people have started to band around the world authenticity. But what does it really mean? Well, for me, authenticity is about being in alignment with your core values and running your business aligned to your core values. And that's something I mentioned earlier, right at the beginning of these tips. And so be you and be awesome is my top tip for having a successful VA business. So if you're looking to build and grow a VA business, I share lots and lots of resources on the VACT website, including the 7 steps to boost your VA business guide, which is available from the sidebar of my blog page. And there are literally hundreds of blogs on the website to help you have a successful VA business. And if there's a topic that you're looking for and it isn't there yet, message me and I'll look to get it added for you over the coming months. So all that leaves me to say now is if you have any questions about this admin chat or about becoming a virtual assistant and having that authentic and awesome VA business, then I'd love for you to get in touch. My contact details are on the screen for you there. You can either visit me via the website or you can connect with me on social media. I also run a free Facebook community group of those who are either new to the VA industry and wanting to get established or established VAs who are looking for peer support. It's a group that's a non-promotion group and I'd love for you to come and join us there and ask any questions that you've got about the VA industry. Thanks for joining me on AdminChat. I hope it's helpful, and I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope you have a really successful VA business. Thank you.